Hi everyone, my name is DEBOJIT and welcome back to our YouTube channel. Today I shall discuss an important chapter of your class 10 social science, which is named as International Organization, the United Nations Organizations and other. This is the chapter of your class 10 social science, political science and economic sections. Now at first there are some points of discussion. The first one is the objectives of the UNO. Now, what is UNO? Okay, and its organ, and what are its organ? The United Nations and the world peace. What is the United Nations and how it contribute to the world peace? And the third one, the United Nations and the Human Right and Human Right Commission. That means they are the organs of the United Nations. Later I will discuss about it. Now the name of the chapter itself says the International Organization. That means an organization which is international established. Okay. Now I will discuss the chapter. First of all, the objectives of the United Nations and its organ. Now what is the United Nations? First of all, we have to start from the World War I. Now you all know heard about the World War I. In the World War I, there are some countries which are fighting against each other. They are, one of the countries were central countries versus allied powers. Central countries, that means Austria, Hungary, Germany, and the allied powers are US, Russia, French, etc. Okay, now there were war between the central countries and the allied power. You all know that when a war happened, then a lot of people suffered from the war. So after World War I, the countries have decided that a international organization have to be followed which can stop the war. Okay, so after the World War I, League of Nations were formed to ensure the world peace and to stop the war in future. Then some countries decided that now we have to stop the war because the war are devastating. Then they decided that a League of Nations was to be formed. League of Nations, that means it is a group of countries which ensure that the world peace is established. Okay, but unfortunately there were World War II after the World War I. So the international organization which is established at the time, which is named as the League of Nations, was failed to their objectives. What was their objectives? That to ensure the world peace. Now after the World War II, the countries again made a conference and they decided that League of Nations was a failure because there are World War II after the World War I. Now they have decided that the countries made another international organization which is named United Nations Organization. Look here. After the World War II broke out in 1939, the magnitude of the devastations brought by the Second World War made the world population so scared, and they restarted thinking about the formation of another world organizations. As a result, another world organization, namely the United Nations Organizations, formed on 24th October 1945. So this is a date you have to remember, 24 October 1945. On this date, the United Nations Organization was formed for the first time. Now, at that time, 51 states put their signature to the UN Charter in the San Francisco Conference. Now, the countries, they were set in the San Francisco Conference. San Francisco is basically a name in the United States. So, they have decided that a UN Charter is to be formed. Now, what is UN Charter? UN Charter is a piece of paper or law of instrument where all the laws, all the obligations of the member countries were written. Now, the United Nations came into being. So this is the first time that 1945 that United Nations organizations was formed for the first time. Now, since its birth, it has been doing its best to save the people of the world from the danger of the another world war. Look, the main perspective, the main aim of the United Nations formation was that to stop the war in the upcoming future. The people of the world observed the date of birth of the UNO, that is the 24th October, as the UN Day. This is, you have to remember that UN Day was is observed all over the world on 24th October. Okay. Now let's move to the next one. At present, 193 member states, the UNO has been engaged ceaselessly for the peaceful solution to all the disputed state issues. Now, when UN was formed at 1945, in the year 1945, then there were only 51 countries who put the signature in the UN Charter. Now, there are almost 193 member countries in the United Nations organizations. Member countries, that means they are the countries put their signature on the UN Charter so that they follow the rules, obligations of the UN Charter. Now, the head office of the UNO is situated at the Newark in the United States of America. This is the headquarter, and it is situated at New York City of the United States of America. Now, what are the basic objectives of the UNO? Okay. First of all, there are altogether 111 articles in the UN Charter. It is an important one that how many articles are there in the UN Charter? There are 111 articles in the UN Charter. At the very first article, the 4 objectives of the UNO has been incorporated. This is an important one, that what are the objectives of the UNO? What is the main purpose? Now, first one is to maintain the international peace and security. As you know that there were two world wars, World War I and World War II. Then after that, the main objectives of the UNO is to maintain the international peace, so that there are no other war could be happened in the near future. Now, the second one is to establish the friendship among the all countries. Look, there are 193 countries. The main objective of the UNO is to establish the relation, the friendship relations between the countries on the basis of equal right and self-determinations. Okay. The next one is to bring about solutions of the existing economic, social and cultural problems. Look, there are many problems in the world at present. As you know that there were going on the Russia-Ukraine war. So there are many problems, economic problems in the world, like global trade issue, social problem, social inequality between the countries, like you know that the North versus South, and the cultural problem which existed in the countries. Now, the main objectives of the UNO is to bring the solutions about this problem. And disputed issue, that means, for example, you can take Indian-Pakistan relation, the Indus Water Treaty. As you know that there is a Indus Water Treaty for the dispute between the Indus River water sharing. So, there are many dispute countries between the neighborhood countries. And to bring about the solution of this disputed issue, the main objectives of the United Nations organization came into being. And on the basis of international cooperation, so that each and every individual person become able to enjoy human right. Okay, that means every person in the country, they were able to enjoy the human rights. Human rights are basically some rights that are enjoyed by the humans, regardless of sex, caste, okay, race, and fundamental rights. As you know that what is fundamental right, they are already written in the Constitution of India. Now, the next objectives of the UNO is to perform as a center of excellence to establish good and cordial relation among various countries. Okay, so they are the mediator. That means they are the main center where the good relations between the two countries are discussed, the disputes are discussed. Okay, and to achieve the aforesaid objectives and to achieve the objectives. Okay, now the four objectives of the UNO, it is a very important topic. Okay, now the next one is the principles of the UNO. What are the principles? The first principle of the UNO is the UNO is established on the principle of equal sovereignty. Equal sovereignty. Now, what is equal sovereignty? Equal sovereignty means all the member countries, all the countries are equal and they have the right to be independent from the other countries. Okay? So, the UNO is established on the principle of equal sovereignty of all the member countries. The next one is all the member states shall perform own duties and responsibilities by obeying the rules as mentioned in the UN Charter. You know that already, that there were 111 articles in the UN Charter, and all the 193 member countries who were signed at the UN Charter, they must follow their duties and responsibilities towards the United Nations organizations. Next one, all the member states of the UNO shall settle all the dispute peacefully and without affecting the international peace, security and justice. As you know that there were many disputes between the two countries, so all the member states of the UNO shall settle all the dispute peacefully, so that there were no other war that can be happened in the near future. Now, the next principles of the UNO is, in the interest of maintaining cordial international relation, all members shall refrain from threat of use of force against the another state. That means the member countries, that means the 193 member countries, they are, in spite of their disputes, in order to maintain the good relations among the countries, they were restrained from the threat of use of force. They cannot use the military force against each other. Now, the next and fifth principle of the UNO is the member state shall extend help and support to the UNO if and when the UN asks for, and in the UN Charter, and no member state would extend help or support to particular state or states that are facing UNO punitive action. That means when UNO, the United Nations organizations, they lack of some monetary value, they can ask the member countries to donate, and all the member countries shall extend help and support to the UNO. Okay, it is written in the UN Charter itself, and no member states would extend help or support to the particular states or state that are facing UNO's punitive action. That is, UNO, when the United Nations organization is putting some sanctions on the particular countries, then the 193 member states, either of the country, could not help the particular country which are facing sanctions from the UNO. Okay, these are the principles of the UNO. Now you know that there are many organs in the UNO, like General Assembly, Security Council, Economic and Social Council, Trusteeship Council, ICJ and Secretariat. I think I will discuss this organs of the UNO in the next class. This is the end of the video. If you like the concept, then please hit subscribe and share. Okay, thank you.